welcome to another episode of Curtain Call Conversations. I'm here today with Jack Whittle, who is soon to be in the new musical that will be at the Southwark Playhouse Theatre, Fun at the Beach, Romp-Bomp-A-Lomp. Now, already that sounds brilliant. What a title.
Oh, the title's the hardest thing to get right in the show.
Yeah, I can imagine. How are you?
Very well, very tired. It's the start of week 3 of rehearsals. So as you can imagine, it's all starting to come together, which, we're putting it all together on our feet all day. Dance moves are all in there. It's an exciting, tiring time.
Yeah, I can imagine. So tell us about this show. I mean, what is the premise behind Fun at the Beach, we'll call it?
Fun at the Beach is look, it's basically it's a world premiere of a brand new musical which focuses on the classic 50s 60s beach movie,
Yeah.
and all the characters are these characters that everybody already knows and loves from that period of time, larger than life. They've all got their own archetype that they bring to the table, and they're all competing to win king or queen of the beach at the Beach Romp-Bomp-A-Lomp. Uh, but
Brilliant.
the competitions that they undertake, they take twists and turns that you could never imagine.
Sure. I mean, and who do you play in the show?
So I play Dude, who I guess is kind of the James Dean sort of character from the, if we're thinking about those sorts of movies.
Okay. Fabulous. So let's talk about your career as well. Just before we started recording, I did say that I saw you play Tony Blair at Birmingham Rep, which in the rock opera, which I thought was just brilliant. I laughed so much that I came out with a stomachache. I have to say, what was that show like for you? Because it was just, I mean, it was just comedy genius, I thought.
Yeah, me too. Well, thank you, actually. Thank
Yeah,
you. It
yeah.
sounded like I was praising myself. No, I was praising the show.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had the best time. The
yeah.
best time. Like you said, the script, the songs, everything was perfect. And there was no better character to get to play, because audiences, they were almost fighting with each other some nights, because people either love you or hate you every night you're on stage. It's just a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean, as a character, he's brilliant to play, and I have to say, you embodied him. I mean, you just looked like him. I just thought it was just watching him on the stage doing what he wanted to do, which was be a rock star, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It really had that energy from the start of, he was always trying to find his center stage
Yeah.
almost, and it led him to politics, and he just kept on falling up that ladder until
Mm,
it all went horribly wrong.
yeah. I mean, you did a stint at the Edinburgh Fringe with it as well, didn't you?
We did. We went up to Edinburgh with the show, and Harry Hill, who wrote the
Yeah.
script, and Steve Brown, who sadly passed away actually in February,
Oh.
wrote the score, and we, I don't know, we had a wonderful time, a
Yeah.
really wonderful time.
I can only imagine, because the cast that you had, I mean, you could tell that you all got on off stage as well as on, because I think that the sort of vibe with the whole thing was just, it was just brilliant. I really loved it.
Yeah,
And I'd like to see it come round again.
me too.
Yeah,
That'd be
exactly.
great.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll keep telling people. We'll keep telling people to put it back on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you should, because it raises a smile, that's for sure. So I mean, also, I mean, you just sort of comedy feature heavily within the sort of the work that you do, because you've been in the Goes Wrong franchise of shows as well. So do you enjoy the comedy side of it all?
Yeah, I didn't really realize until I started working that I was quite funny. And then uh, ever since, I don't know, it comes quite naturally to me. Uh, Physical comedy and that sort of high octane farce is
Mm.
something that comes quite naturally to me. But I've got to work with some brilliant people, you know, like Mark Bell with the Mischief stuff, and Mark's directing Fun at the Beach as well.
Yeah.
And Harry Hill with Tony Blair. Like, I've got to work with so many people who have taught me so much with regards to comedy. And yeah, that is, I mean, it started off with plays, and now all of a sudden it seems to be musical comedy.
Yeah.
So I have to think about singing as well as trying to be funny, which is a challenge.
Yeah. I mean, do you enjoy the musical side of it as well?
I mean, I do now.
Yeah.
When I remember the first week or so at Tony rehearsals, I was just in awe that people could do all of this stuff in one go, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas now I love it because I feel a bit more relaxed. But the first time it is learning a new skill, learning
Yeah.
to sing and not stop
Yeah.
doing everything else.
Yeah. And to be able to do it vocally, sort of, you know, sometimes 8 shows a week. I mean, it's hard going, isn't it, for your voice?
Yeah.
So Fun at the Beach, what sort of music can we expect for this musical?
You can expect I don't want to give too much away. So you can expect a lot of songs that you know and love. Just a little hint of songs that you know and love from the 50s and 60s, but with their own Fun at the Beach twist. And I think Brandon, who is our composer, he is a bit of a genius, a comedic genius in writing songs that you recognize, and then kind of delivering a comedic punch with the lyrics and the melody. He's very, very, very good. But I don't want to compliment him too much because he'll probably listen to this.
Absolutely. I mean, it's sort of they've said it's Grease meets Squid Game. I mean, that's great, isn't it? So, you know, if people like Grease, I guess the music from that was pretty iconic, isn't it, from that era? So would you say it is kind of on that line?
All of the songs, definitely, you get a feel for that sort of period. So they remind you of Grease. They remind you of even Jersey Boys, really, that sort of style. But yeah, it's non-stop. It's a non-stop whirlwind of fun and surprises. And yeah, the audiences will not believe the Squid Game element when it starts to creep in, because it just hits you like a sledgehammer.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this a straight through show as well?
Yes, yeah, just a lovely hour and a half.
Yeah, I was going to say, as a performer, do you prefer that?
I mean, it has its benefits, you know. We get a lovely early night.
Yeah.
But I think for this show it's perfect to go straight through, because the momentum just keeps on building, and you don't give the audience chance to breathe. And us, you know, we don't have chance to stop and have to come back in at the same energy. We have to keep on building and building for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But there are some shows where you need the break, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
You need that little break for the audience to gather their thoughts and come together. But I think it's perfect for Fun at the Beach.
Yeah, fantastic. So you're in rehearsal process at the moment. So what is it like for you to be given sort of a brand new character? You know, we've not seen anybody from this musical before. And how do you decide how you want him to look?
Yeah, it's tough, because you don't really think about it as much as, especially with working with Mark and Martin, who wrote the book. They've been so open to the first week just spending time kind of improvising around different scenarios and finding the character quite organically, as opposed to everyone coming in with an idea already.
Right.
So it was a tough first few days, but I think we're in a very, very strong place now, where we have 6 very individual, strong characters on stage with their own objectives to win king or queen of the beach, but their own personal obstacle to overcome alongside the challenges ahead.
Yeah, sure. I mean, do you enjoy sort of the rehearsal process, or do you just want to get on and do it, you know, for the audience?
No, I love rehearsal processes, especially when they're like this, because it's been so collaborative between everybody,
Yeah.
even between the actors as well. We've kind of built it up together, so you learn so much when you get the chance to do that. But then you know, it always happens in rehearsal where you hit a point, and we've not hit that point quite yet, but you hit a point where you need an audience to take the next step. You need an audience to learn how the beats are going to be received, how the laughter is going to create a rhythm in the show.
Yeah.
And I think in a few days, maybe by Thursday this week, we'll be at that point where we're going to start wanting some laughter.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, you need that sort of, you know, that feedback, don't you? Just to make sure it's working, I guess, as well. So, I mean, it'd be great when this is finally open. It opens on the 24th of May, so you haven't got long to go. I mean, do you still get sort of I don't want to say not stage fright, that's the wrong word, but nerves, you know, when you're about to go on stage for the first time of a brand new show?
It's the first night. The first night, there's always that little bit of I don't know. It's not quite anxiety. It's excitement because you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
You know, I've been really lucky that my last two jobs have been brand new.
Yeah.
But with that comes the sort of fear that, is everyone going to like it? Is everyone going to laugh? Because we find it funny, but are they going to find it funny?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the extra excitement when it's a brand new show.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the Southwark Playhouse, obviously the staging is quite small there, and I know you've performed sort of in the West End for, you know, Mischief Theatre. So what's it like, sort of playing a smaller venue? Do you prefer it, or do you prefer the larger theatres?
I love a smaller venue,
Mm,
but it's because of what the sort of shows I do in comedy.
yeah,
But when you can see and connect to the audience, and they really do become part of the show.
yeah.
Um, you know, I think it was Tim Minchin said that nothing ruins comedy like arenas, and I think he's right. I
Yeah,
think the more intimate it is, the better.
yeah. So you prefer that
Yeah.
as a venue, yeah. It starts, as I say, the 24th of May. It's on for a month. I mean, do you enjoy sort of a shorter run of a show, or do you prefer to be out on tour for months on end?
Uh, I I I think there's a happy medium somewhere.
Mm,
You know, I think you can always find the challenge. I think if a show's quite short, then, you know, 4 weeks, I think we'll probably look back, all of us, and think, I wish we could have had the chance to try this out. I
mm,
wish we could have had the chance to try this out.
yeah,
Um, but then, yeah, looking at the other side of it, that there might be some shows where you do them for 10 months and think, I've pretty much done everything I've wanted to do with it.
yeah,
So I think there's a happy medium, but
mm.
4 weeks, 4 weeks is the shortest. Yes, the shortest run I've ever done.
Oh,
So
is it?
I think I'll definitely walk away thinking, I'll about 2 months from now, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and think of something that I wish I'd done.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, it would probably just go by in a flash, really, when you know, 4 weeks once you've done the first
Yeah.
week, and it just flies by, doesn't it? So, talk about your career with me. So, I mean, what started you in the performing arts? I mean, what is it that you love about it?
Um, it was a bit of an accident, to be honest.
Oh, right.
I didn't start acting until I was 18,
Oh, right.
and
Okay.
then um, quite enjoyed it, and I thought I was quite good at it. So I auditioned for drama school, and luckily got in to Guildford,
Hmm.
and it just kept on going. Like it just kept on being the next thing and the next thing, and now it's my job. Now it's my job.
Yeah. Do you
But yeah, I
find that
love it.
sort of a pinch me moment then that you're doing this professionally now?
Yeah, there are definitely times. I think I've just about got used to it now, but there's still always a moment where I kind of look at myself and think, what am I doing? What's going on? I think it's when I see friends from school as well, because it was
Yeah.
so sudden. And they're all, I don't know, they do normal things like law and marketing and
Yeah.
other professions. And it all comes home a little bit. It reminds myself that I'm very, very
Yeah.
lucky to be doing it.
Yeah. I mean, did you have a chosen career path sort of before you went into acting?
Yeah, I was going to university to do accounting and finance.
Okay.
Um, very pleased I'm doing this instead.
Yeah, exactly. I think you made the right decision. That's great. Thanks for having a chat with me today. It's been really lovely. Fun at the beach, Romp-Bomp-A-Lomp. I love saying that. It's great.
That's
Opens at Southwark Playhouse on the 24th of May. I'll put the information on the next slide for everybody that wants to come and visit. But wishing you and the rest of the cast a really good run. I hope it goes well for you all.
Oh, thanks so much, Emma.
Okay, no problem at all. Take care.
You too.
Bye. Bye-bye.